All right, welcome back to Coastal Traction Depot. On this episode, we're going to try to figure out why the green truck ain't making no power. Now, just a little bit of backstory on it. I got an idea why it ain't making no power. When I first put this combination together, it had like a lean pop. Well, I didn't know what it was, but I did find an intake valve that was leaking. It was significant too. Now, the heads are new. They're not new. I don't remember. They're like 20 years old. I think they were on the Mustang, and then my brother gave them to me, or me and him swapped a set of cylinder heads, and I've confused myself. I don't really know at this point. Anyhow, I think they're new. They may not be new. Who knows? But intake leak. So I took them. I got them fixed. You know, they ground new seats and everything. However, when I got them back then, they were still leaking a minute amount. Okay, I didn't think a whole lot about it, but I knew they were leaking just a tiny amount. So whatever, that's fine. Well, the lean pop ended up being because I had 35-pound injectors in it and it really needed 60s. Well, I thought it needed 60s, but it don't need no 60s. It can't burn that much fuel, but. So moving on, got the 60s in it, fixed the lean pop. Well, then we realized the truck's not making any power. And I don't know what's going on, but I went back. We changed the springs in it because it was floating the valves real bad. So now the the theory may be is that the springs were initially weak. It had a little bit of a leak, and from the valves floating, now it's definitely, the seats are all beat up. I hope. I don't know. I did a leak down check. It had 25% leakage, which is pretty bad for a brand new engine. But it's not burning oil. It's not smoking. Yes, something's happening. Something's happening that this thing's not making the power that it should make. And I don't know. I've gone back and forth, and I've talked to several people. And it should make, I'm going to put a number out there, but don't hold me to it, because if it don't make it, you know, I don't know, man. It may not make it. But it should make 500. Should make closer to 6 at the flywheel, you know. That's a lot of power. But right now, it'll barely spin one tire. But when it does get it spinning, it keeps it spinning for a little bit. So, you know, it's trying. I know it's there. It's got the heart, but it ain't there. So, I'm going to take the heads off, take it to the machine shop. I'll bust this up, I guess, into different series or, you know, episodes. I'm not real sure. I got to do it as I'm getting off of work, too. So, I'll show you the process. I don't know if I feel like I've pulled the heads off of this brand new engine 15 times, but maybe it's only been once. So I'll set the camera up and I'll show you what the engine, let's get started, you know what I'm saying, Bubba? All right, so I'm gonna drain the coolant and then just start, you know, taking all this jazz off of here. I really need to rework this pipe. It's too long right here. I need to bring it back and get me more air filter room. All of my AC system can hopefully stay intact. Also, I was getting to where... Ow, I just cut my finger, I think. Ow. So, slide some glove hands on for safety first. But it actually wasn't safety first, otherwise I wouldn't have... Well, I just did it again. Pretty cool. But the gloves protected me. Oh, anyways, what I was saying was, I got a small, like a, I don't know if one would even call it a mist, but it's something at low RPM cruising, and the truck just kind of, boom, 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 you know, shudders a little, whatever. And I wonder if it's the valve. All right, so now I'm going to snatch this downpipe off. I know this has been on video at least once where I took this downpipe off, or at least I feel like it has. The way this, I'm gonna say it, and then the way this, it's stuck. Of course it is. Now my thumb's hung. Okay. Wait a minute, give me just a second, I'll show you something. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I don't have a whole lot of turbo experience. I got this truck and the Mustang ain't ran in 45 years. But, so, on the Mustang, if the downpipe had to come off, it's a weekend. You're going to be in there for a weekend. Look at this. Off film, I fought it a little, but it didn't take me that long. But look at this. Oh, let me access my everything on this side of the truck. I built this thing. Look at this thing, man. Look at that. I built that. That's cool. I mean, it leaks a little bit, and it's not that cool, but I like it. It just comes off real easy. And now I got full access to work on things. You can have that off in, 10 minutes. 15, just depends on if it's hot or not. And it does maybe have a little bit of leaking, but you're gonna have that occasionally. Alright, I don't actually remember the procedure for all this jazz, but I'm just gonna start slowly taking stuff apart, slide this old distributor out that I'm almost guaranteed to not get back in the right spot. Get the distributor and get the coolant out. I got an oil leak too, an external, in between the cylinder head and the intake, and that's another thing. I had a buddy shave this intake down because the ports didn't line up for nothing. So I'm hoping, I don't know what I'm hoping for, we'll see. But my hope and my dream is that this is simply a head sealing issue, and that maybe once I get the heads off and I look inside and I can see the cylinder boards and see what they look like, I could say, oh, hey, this ain't that bad. Everything looks not that bad, and it'll be all right. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Once I get this alternator off, I think I'll pull the turbo headers off. And they come off pretty good too. They're on that 3-inch spacing. Man, that makes a world of difference. On the Ford stuff, I think you've got, I don't know all the different sizes, but I think it's 2.5 is a standard, like a 302. The bolt spacing in between, and then this is 3-inch. Man, that gives you all the room for activities. You can get your plugs in and out. Your boots don't get burned up. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, then we take the valve covers off, and then we'll take the ProFlo intake off. And that thing's a pretty simple jewel to get off too. Yeah. This thing's actually pretty easy to work on. And it's a good thing because I got to work on it a lot. Well, that popped off a little bit too easy. That popped off a little bit more too easy. I just bought this thing from AutoZone. Or maybe it was O'Reilly's. I'm not sponsored by anyone. In case y'all are looking. I'll tell you something else. Exhaust bolts, 12-point, cool. Intake manifold, 12-point, that's dumb. I don't know why I did that. I thought it'd be cool, but it's not cool. It's kind of dumb. It's hard to work on. Throttle body's off. I mean, it looks pretty good. You got a little dirt in there, but I think you're going to have that occasionally. Whoa! Okay. I like these little tool trays that Ford puts on these old trucks. Got plenty of room to store all my tools here. It's because you got to work on them all the time. Because they're Fords. Listen, I just put a unacceptable amount of pressure on that intake and it did not move. So that tells me one of two things. A, I ain't got all the bolts out. That's possible. B, I got way too much glue on there. I don't know. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got all the bolts out. So, and I think I just moved that intake gasket as well. So it's probably, I mean, thermostat is probably going to leak now. Which, these old small block Fords, you going to get 2,000 or 3,000 thermostat housing leaks. It's just part of the... Bro. My heart come up out of my chest just a little bit, but I got it. Is that ground out? That's a ground / throttle return spring. Oh, I did say I was going to take those valve covers off. Remember that? I completely forgot. Let's get our first look at this. Well, let's get in here. This is the problem here, the one that's always leaking. And I don't know if you can see it. I mean, it's not always leaking, it's just, it's got oil in it all the time. The plug's burning oil. Alright, the alternator comes out, and then it's just a handful of bolts for the alternator bracket with the tensioner built onto it. This is the original bracket and accessories off the Mustang. I don't know what I'm going to go back with, but they worked really good on this truck. And this is an LMR bolt kit, which is super nice. It's all ARP hardware. My gosh, I mean, I get crazy over stuff like that. I love it. I painted all this stuff. I just need to clean it. Just need to clean it back up before I put it back on. You know, be like a brand new engine again. Again, a brand new engine again. This thing was pretty dadgum clean, but you know, when you daily drive junk like this, yeah, it gets dirty. It's just how it is, part of it. Everything should come, I think, should come up on this side. That turbo's kind of heavy. I mean, it's not heavy, it's bulky. But here's another thing, you know, this vintage air kit, so the lines, they don't look kinked. I'm sure it ain't, I know it's probably not the best for them to be rolled up, but hey, look at that, it gives me full access. I don't have to discharge the system. I have full access to do whatever it is I got to do now. Snatch these heads off and the headers and all that jazz. That's awesome. I love vintage air. Fantastic kits, fantastic customer service. I put 2 kits on. I ain't got nothing but good things to say about vintage air. So, alright, I got the AC compressor bracket off. There ain't no power steering because it's electric power steering. I got the alternator bracket off. Now I got to get the headers, valve covers, rocker arms, and then the heads come off, and then we'll see what we got in there. Alright, this is day 2, taking the cylinder heads off. Got the valve covers off. I got a little pleasant surprise too, I forgot. Check this out, I was leaving work today, and I found my belt. I looked up the price of this belt. This belt was $61 from O'Reilly's. I don't know why it's so expensive. That's a joke, but that's $61 saved. You'll never guess where it was. It was right across the street from my boss's house. I feel like he'd been knowing that belt was sitting there and just didn't want to say nothing to me. But anyhow, got that old eagle eyes, snatched that sucker right on up. So, next thing I got to do is pull the headers, pull the rocker arms, pull the heads. And I got a feeling I'm going to end up pulling this motor, and I'll tell you why. Because in the quest for more power, I feel like the cylinder heads I think are a big part of it. I'm going to let the machine shop look at them and determine. The second thing is I really want a choppy cam. I can't remember if I already said all this or not, but if I did, I'll edit it out. I really want a choppy cam, and I talked to my buddy Matt at Comp, and so he said he's going to get me a chop cam, and it should make quite a bit more horsepower, a little less torque, and the goal for the truck was to tow, but now the goal for the truck is to make a ton of power. I want to make a lot of power. You know, I'm good with not being able to tow a lot as long as I can make a whole bunch of power and spin the crap out of that one tire. I just want that one tire to almost incinerate every time I get on the gas pedal. The other thing, if it's not the heads, my concern is that it could be the rings. And when me and my brother assembled this motor 20 years ago, we assembled it for a turbo, but I have no idea what the ring gap was. I know we set them loose intentionally because it was going to be for a turbo, but I don't know what they are. So I kind of feel like, well, I'm this deep in it, I need to pull the motor. I mean, I think it'd be best to do. But anyhow, let's see what happens. Let's get these rocker arms off and then go from there. All these header bolts, I can't remember if they're 3/8 or 7/16. Man, all these things are super easy to get to and get access to. I can probably zip them off with that little ratchet wrench. They're so easy to get to now with the 3-inch spacing. And that really is the way to go. The only thing that I'm using these Rimflex gaskets. Man, I love these Rimflex gaskets. They seal like none other. But they're one-time use. And I know most gaskets are one-time use, but sometimes there's been times where I've got away with using gaskets more than once and had good luck out of it. We used to use these, you know, I was just talking to Matt yesterday. We used to use these Cometic gaskets over and over. And I'm sure, though, probably don't need to do it. Probably be best to go ahead and change them. Especially in this scenario where I've had the truck apart 1,500 times. Just to be safe, try to do things right. The headers are the same way. I mean, on the Mustang, it was like I was saying about the downpipe. You're in it for the weekend. You got to take a header off. That's it. That's what we're doing this weekend. You want to go out and party? Nah, got to take a header off. My weekend's booked. Got to change spark plug. Look at these headers, man. Not a single leak. Put some oil on it. I dripped some oil on it, but not a single leak. I mean, those Rimflex gaskets are top notch. I mean, see if this, I'm stuck, had any leaks on it. Golly. Well, possibly. Not sure. And we got the gasket with it. That's crazy. Come on. Jeez. I ain't gonna reuse that gasket now. I mean, not like I was going to. I'm just kidding, I probably would. Boy, it's got a lot of carbon on it. And my gosh. There's a clean spot, which I ain't no engine diagnosing guy, but hang on, I'll get this off and I'll look at it and I'll show it to you. Alright, there's one. These pistons have got a ridiculous amount of carbon on them. Alright, here comes cylinder head number 2, or number 1. Whichever it is. Let me stretch out the most ridiculous possible way I can to where I hurt my back. Oh, yeah. This is better. Is it better? Yeah. I mean, well, we're getting there. All right, straight up. That one came right up like it was ready. It said, hey, there's a problem on this cylinder. And you know that there is. At least these things are lightweight. All right, these are the heads 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I can tell you what I see. When you zoom back, you see this is the one that was burning oil, number 5. And you can kind of tell it's got a bunch of little extra crusties on it. And the valve is super shiny. This one's pretty dull. This one looks like she was burning a little oil as well. This one looks okay. Step over here to this one, and it's got some weirdness. This ain't the weirdness, but I'll show you the weirdness. I've never seen this in all my years of engine building. I'm just kidding. I don't build a whole lot of engines. Look at this line. I'll get a flashlight and try to shine in there. Dude, I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what that is. Y'all can speculate. Super strange. None of the other ones have it. But, man, she is sooty. Like, bad sooty. And the thing was running really rich all the time. And I think it's something we can get cleaned up and fixed. Man, that's really weird looking. Look at that. I've never seen a line like that, just clean. Like something's leaking. Something's leaking and it ain't got no business leaking. I don't know. All right, look at these gaskets though. These things they were holding up like troopers. I got half of it. I'll get some new ones. This is another thing, man, for the love of the game. I mean, I do love it. I don't like spending $700 on gaskets. Either way, just all part of it. All right, day 3, I'm just gonna pull the motor. I done put this cam in here. I got the radiator out. And it's just gonna be so much easier. The cam, I don't know, maybe it will fit. I don't want to pull the condenser out and break my AC lines. And I want to make sure that the I'd like to make sure that I get my intake seated good. Last time I had a whole bunch of alright, I think I'm hung up on the... I have a whole lot of chain here. Okay. Well, I wonder if I ought to change that dang throwout bearing. Every time you take a clutch off a throwout bearing, it seems like it don't know how to act. And I got 500 foot of chain. I really don't want to pull this hood. I don't ever want to pull the hood. I asked my wife if she'd help me. She said she would. I know she will. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to pull the hood. I know it's going to clear. Now, when I go back together with it, I'll have the heads back on it, and it'll be hopefully fairly complete. So I'll probably have to take the hood off. I don't know why I paused for 3 hours before I decided to keep talking, but that's just how I do, Bubba. What's going on? What's all that noise about? Oh man, no, you gotta take the clutch off. But I really thought it'd be cool to have a 5-speed rig. And I mean, it's cool. We're not gonna clear that, are we? If there's a wheel, there's a way. Come on out there, baby. May have to push pause on this because what I'm gonna do, or I'm trying to do, I don't think a lot of y'all, if I'd have choked up on that 2 links, I would have fit. No problem. Messing up my paint. Boy, I am stretching that out. Guess I'll loosen them bolts against my better judgment. Maybe if I loosen them, it'll give me enough room. You know, not take them all the way out. I don't want to mess up my perfect alignment. How much more up do I gotta go? Jeez. So dadgum hard-headed. Come on. Perfect. Just like I planned it. Come on, little 300 horsepower turbocharged engine. All right, gotta get the clutch off. Let me get the clutch off and get the clutch off, get the flex flywheel off, whatever it's called, and put it on engine stand. That is nasty. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up like this. As you can tell, it's been a little bit of time. I got a whole bunch of stuff tore up in the shop. The shop's blown apart again. But that's kind of a good thing, because I'm actually going back together with this. But I did find a couple of things. One thing, the good Lord's looking out for me again. I mean, I had this out. There's something rolling around in the pan. I took the pan off, and I could not believe it, but there was an oil pump bolt. And the only thing that I can figure out is I just left it loose. Ain't nothing else it can be. I just left that sucker loose. I went over the rod bolts 3 times and the main bolts 3 times, but I have no idea. I left it loose. So luckily, everything's good. I did pull the piston out and I checked the ring gap because I was curious about it, and it's pretty wide. It's 27, 25 on just one piston. I just checked number 1. But that's fine because it's a turbo setup. I found something else that's really hurting power. I'm talking about hurting power. I initially thought it was 9.2 to 1 compression ratio. And then I found a little trick that these pistons are 85 thousandths in the hole. So when I did the math on that, it turned out to be 7.93 to 1 is what it is. 7.93 to 1. Explains a whole lot. No easy way to fix that other than to change pistons, which I'm not going to do. But I do have a boost controller. So the plan is to just turn the boost. I'm talking about all the way up. Let's see what it's got. I know on the Mustang, I think it was tapped out at 20 PSI for this little turbo that I got. So maybe we'll see. Well, I'm going to turn it up. We're going to shoot for 20 at least and see what happens. I'm going to put some thinner head gaskets on it, maybe boost the compression to 8 to 1. You know what I'm saying? Get every little bit she's got. But the bottom end is honestly not rated for a lot of power. It should hold some, but dang, man, you know, I figured we'd be good with what it's got anyways, and we were. 300 horsepower. It'll hold that all day long. You know, a stock 5.0 will make 300 horsepower. Not really, but close. But anyways, so also, we're taking out the little cam that was in it for towing, and I'm going to put this bad boy in. I can give y'all the specs on the next video, but on this is one that my buddy Aaron custom ground for my Mustang. Probably ain't got no business being in a heavy truck, but we want to get some power out of this, and I already had it. And boy, car parts are starting to cost. It's unreal. I had the heads reworked. The gentleman said there wasn't a whole lot wrong with them. They look pretty good, but still charged me $500, which that is what it is. You know, they're in business to make money. They ain't, you know, trying to hand out. Anyways, gaskets, $330. I've got $800 in nothing, but something good came out of it. You got to stay positive, baby. Something good came out of it. I found that oil pump bolt. And if I wouldn't have found that, it was just a matter of time before I just scattered the engine. Well, if we turn it up to 20 pounds, we may scatter it anyways. Told my wife. This is the last hurrah. If it don't make power, I don't know what. I appreciate y'all watching. Hang in there for next video. I'll have this thing on the road. We're going to be really, hopefully, lighting up that one tire with way, way more power. Appreciate it. Colts Construction Depot. All right, I don't know if I'll leave that. Maybe I'll leave it. Can't tell what I'm going to do. Peace.